Any doubts from? We'll solve it today. See, I'll give you my answer. You'll have your answer. We'll both check when UPSC publishes answer की next. With this year's question. CSC 2022 का question. क्या? How? अच्छा, ऑप्शन में आंसर नहीं है सर, पूरा नहीं है, क्या है नहीं है? Okay, the slant height of circular cone is 10 and height is 10. Height is 8. Find the area of curved surface. Radius क्या आ गई? This is a right circular cone. Right. Slant height is 10. This is 10. Height is 8. H is 8. Radius कितनी होगी? 6 से 10 पाइथागोरस ट्रिपलेट. क्या होता है सर? कर्व्ड सरफेस एरिया पूछा है ना? हाँ, पाई ऐड कर लो. एरिया ऑफ कर्व्ड सरफेस इज पाई आर. हाँ, 60 पाई स्क्वायर मीटर्स. पाई नहीं है ना, हर जगह पे पाई ऐड करना पड़ेगा. 60 नहीं है वो, 60 पाई है. वॉल्यूम ऑफ द कोन. इसकी जगह पे 3 4 5 का ट्रायंगल है. दैट ट्रायंगल इज दैट ट्रायंगल इज रोटेटेड. ट्रायंगल रोटेट करेंगे तो ऐसा कोन बनेगा. हाँ, ये ट्रायंगल है. आई रोटेट दिस ट्रायंगल अबाउट दिस हाइट. ऐसे पूरा रोटेट करेंगे तो क्या बनेगा? कोन बनेगा. वो ऐसा कोन बनाया है, बट वही देखना है कि रोटेटेड द साइड ऑफ 3 सेंटीमीटर टू फॉर्म अ कोन. 3 सेंटीमीटर वाली साइड रोटेट की गई. ये वाली 3 सेंटीमीटर वाली साइड ये रोटेट हो रही है. ये 4 वाली 5 वाली. तो पाई आर स्क्वायर एच. कौन ऐसा है? डाल दो. आर स्क्वायर 9 इंटू 4 36 पाई. है ऑप्शन? नहीं है. तो पाई आर स्क्वायर एच होता है वॉल्यूम. 12 है ऑप्शन. सेम बुकलेट. A regular hexagon is inscribed inside a circle with center O. Okay. A chord AB subtends some angle x at the center. How many vertices of the hexagon will the same chord subtend an angle h by 3? There is a circle. There is regular hexagon, something like this. This is chord AB. This center O. Question says this angle is at, and what is the at how many vertices will this chord subtend an angle of x by 3? समझ गए क्वेश्चन? क्या लगता है? Anything you can do about it. कुछ ऐसे अपनी प्रॉपर्टी पढ़ी about angle subtended at origin and angle subtended at circumference. कौन से पॉइंट पे? हर पॉइंट पे. At every point of circumference, this angle would be x by 2. That property we have studied. So at how many vertices the angle would be x by 3? है ना ऑप्शन? अरे बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं यूपीएससी में. मुझे लगता है बस की डिफिकल्ट हो. हाँ, अब हैव कॉन्फिडेंस इन योरसेल्फ. गट फीलिंग मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स राइट होगी. Anything else? No? चले नेक्स्ट वाला बुकलेट स्टार्ट करें. This is our final pillar of our foundation that we are building for quant, or rather entire course except for comprehension is mathematization and linear equation. Booklet number 6 and 7. Mathematization is a skill to convert our word problem into mathematical form or the equations. That is the skill that is very relevant in our CSAT paper, because many problems, most of the problems would be given in the word format. You will have to convert them into equations and then solve those equations. Second step is comparatively easier, solving the equation, because equations we will get will not be very difficult. They will basically be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Those operations, those we are already comfortable with. But this skill, that identifying which are unknowns, which should be taken as variables, which are constants, how many equations should there be, are those number of equations sufficient to solve the question, solve the equation, solve the problem. These are the questions that we need to get comfortable with, and that is why this skill is very important, very relevant for us. Actually, we are supposed to learn this in our schools, but we all know how our education system is. It is rote-based learning system. So we'll learn it here, no issues. Just that जो 5 साल में करना था, आज एक लेक्चर है ना, बाकी कुछ नहीं. In introduction lecture only, I have told you that what is mathematics. Mathematics is about converting. It is about recognizing patterns in the world, patterns, rhythms, and representing those patterns into language. If there is no language, we form a language. And algebra is one such language of mathematics. We represent our abstract thoughts into mathematical language of algebra. So this is that representation, at least beginning of that representation in algebraic patterns. Algebra. So what is linear equation? That is the first section we are dealing with. We should know various terms that we are going to repeatedly use throughout. We have already been using them as well, but today we'll formally define them or understand them. First is constant. Constant is something that is whose value is fixed. It could be a number like 2, 3, 4, 5 or pi, e, or any rational number, root 2, anything that is constant. It is represented by sometimes by letters as well. So if I am writing x plus y is equal to, let's say, k, and I say that k is some constant. I don't know what it is. It is not changing. It is constant. So it is not necessary that it always has to be a number in your question. It could be a constant in terms of letters as well. Here x and y are changing. I don't know their values, but here k is some constant. I know its value. It is k. K would be something 5, 4, 3, 7, anything. But it is, if once it is there, it is there. It will not change. It is constant. That is what constant. It could be a letter as well as number. So don't get alarmed when I use some letter constant for letter like K, C for constant. Constant मतलब वो change नहीं होगा. इतना ही मतलब है उसका. Constant का मतलब हमेशा number नहीं है. Fine. Then variable, something whose value is not fixed. इसकी value change होती रहेगी. It can take various values, thus called variable. We are to assume some unknown quantity as variable and find out which particular value when given to that variable will satisfy our equations or conditions. What we do is, there are some unknowns in our question. You have to find out something. We assign some variable to it. Variable मतलब कुछ भी value हो सकती है उसकी. It can vary. And then we put additional conditions or equations, and then we get unique value. We find the value of variable which satisfies given conditions or equations. That is our entire job in this process. What is variable in this sense? Variable is an unknown. Variable is something whose value is changed. In this equation, x and y are variable. And if I represent this particular line on a coordinate plane, like if I vary x, if I vary y here, for y is equal to 0, x is equal to k. For x is equal to 0, y is equal to k. And then there will be other values for x and y, other values. So this particular line, every value on this, every value of x and y on this will satisfy this particular equation. So x and y are not fixed, they are changing. But if I put another condition that, for example, x minus y is equal to 3, or for let's say 0, another condition I have added, then what is this line? This is x is equal to y. So x is equal to y, वाली line ऐसी होती है. Then I get unique value which satisfies both the equation. So now variables have fixed value. That is given by this particular point. I had variables and one constant. So variables could take infinitely many values. But then I added additional condition so that I get unique value. That is what we do. We assign variables to our unknowns. Then we put additional condition or equation and then solve for the unique value that we should get according to the question. The next is coefficient. When we are dealing with equation, we are dealing with various terms and coefficients. Coefficients is something that, some constant that precedes or that comes with variables or number of variables. So for example, in 7 is a coefficient, 5 y square z cube, 5 is a coefficient of this term. Coefficient is any constant. So root 2 pi z raised to 4, root 2 pi is a coefficient. Coefficient is constant that comes with variables or some powers of variables. Then term. Term is coefficients and variables that are joined by multiplication or division. So this particular thing is called a term, joined by multiplication. This, if I write this divided by x, this is again another term joined by multiplication and division. This is again another term joined by multiplication and division. If I add another plus x cube y, this is another term. This is a term joined by addition. These are two terms. Okay. Then next is equation. Equation is bunch of terms that are joined by equality sign. So in equation, there should be an equality sign. On the left hand side, there are some terms joined by addition and subtraction, like x cube y z plus 7k, 7 let's say t is equal to 50 x plus. This is a term, this is a term, this is a term, this is a term, and there is equality sign. So this is an equation. Equation bolte. Equation is basically two things joined by equality sign. and on the left hand side and right hand side there are bunch of terms joined by addition or subtraction. Cool? Okay. Next terminology is degree of an equation. Degree basically is highest powers. Highest power of a variable in that equation. So if I have 3x plus 9 equal to 7, there is only one variable, highest degree is 1, so degree is equal to 1. Then I have 3x square plus y plus z is equal to 3. There are multiple variables here, but which variable has highest power? X square. So degree is equal to 2, highest power of that variable. Then x y square plus zx plus z square is equal to some again 3. Again, this is an equation. There are multiple variables. What is the highest power of variable? 1 plus 2. Those get added. They are in multiplication. So this get added. Degree is equal to 3. You understand? What is the degree? Degree is equal to 6. Highest possible degree. This is 4. This is 5. This is 1. This is 6. So degree is 6. Highest is 6. Do we understand what is degree? समझ गए? Then final term, linear equation. Linear equation is degree 1 equation. Degree of 6 है ना? Y to the power 6. Here, statement 1. This is an equation. Yeah. This is entire thing is equation. Basically, I can take this that side in minus and write 0 here. That's okay. No? This same as this is minus y to the power 6 is equal to 0. वो कर ही सकते हैं. In the entire equation, wherever the highest power comes, that is our degree. And linear equation is the one where degree is 1. That is the question that most of the times we'll tackle. For example, 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Is this a linear equation? Yes, it is degree 1. Then 2x plus 3y is equal to 0. Is it a linear equation? Yes, degree is 1. Variables are multiple. There are 2 variables, but degree is still 1. So this is a linear equation. 2x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus xn is equal to 0. Is it a linear equation? All these are variables. Then this is also a linear equation. Okay. So linear equation can have multiple variables. Read the lines that follow linear equations. They can be classified into linear equation 1 variable, 2 variable, 3 variable, etc. The standard form of linear equation with variables x and y is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. These are coefficients a, b, c. These are variables, right? And coefficients of x and y, and this is a constant. C is a constant. क्वेश्चन देखो उसके नीचे के, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इक्वेशंस आर लीनियर? फर्स्ट वाला है यस, सेकंड, थर्ड वाला भी नहीं है, फोर्थ यस, फिफ्थ नो, सिक्स वाला, सेवेंथ, एक बार फिर से देख लो सेवेंथ को, ऐसा कुछ है ना. Can I cancel YZ if they are not 0? So basically, if Y and Z not equal to 0, then we get 23 XYZ 23 x is equal to 0. So this is a linear equation. But you have to remember, you can cancel YZ 0 नहीं भाई 1. कैंसिल करोगे तो 1 बचेगा ना. वी आर डिवाइडिंग. This is possible only when Y and Z are not 0. You cannot cancel things on your whim. कैंसिल मतलब तुम डिवाइड कर रहे हो चीजें, 0 से डिवाइड नहीं करना. You cannot divide by 0, so we can cancel things only when Y and Z both are not 0. We can cancel Y if it is not 0. We can cancel Z if it is not 0. Only when both are not 0, then only we can cancel them and say that this is a linear equation. If one of them is 0, this is not a linear equation, this is just 0 equal to 0. Fine. 7 हो गया. 8. No. 9. 8 है नहीं है ना. तो 3 स्क्वायर एक्स है. जल्दी में you thought it was x square. Next 9 and last. Okay. So now we are comfortable with what is linear equation, various terms attached with linear equation, degree of equation. Okay. Online students, are you with me? Are you following? Good. ये याद रखना, ये बिल्कुल भूलना नहीं. ऐसे randomly cancel नहीं करनी चाहिए. Only when they are not 0, you can cancel. And example of that we'll see in today or tomorrow's class when we solve PYQ. This year's question. हाँ, so cases बनाने पड़ेंगे. What happens when it is 0? What happens when it is not 0? There will be 2 sub cases. Fine. How to decide unknown? What quantity should we assume as our unknown when we are converting your word problem into equations? There are multiple possibilities, because in question it is not definitely not directly given that please assume this quantity as constant, variable, unknown. इसको x assume करो ऐसे बोला नहीं जाता. You have to do that on your own, but as per your understanding. But rule of thumb is most of the time assume what is being asked as x. जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है उसी को x मान लो. Most of the times it will work. In most of the cases, 90% of the cases, this would work. Assume what is being asked as unknown x and just plot the information given in the problem in terms of x, and that would be easiest thing to do in most of the questions. Question देख लो. A sum is divided among 120 men and some women in the ratio 15:21. If each man gets 5 and each woman gets 4, then find the number of women. Question is find the number of women. So as a first step, we'll assume let number of women be x. That is our first step. And now we'll plot the information given in the question according to in terms of this x. First, let the number of women be x. X. Fine. Now what is given? Sum is divided between 120 men and some women in the ratio 15:21. Okay. Now women are x. If each man gets 5 and each woman gets 4, then find the number of women. Man gets 5 and woman gets 4. So 120 men, how much would they get? Men would get 120 into 5 is equal to 600, and woman, each woman gets 4 and we are x women, so 4 into x, 4 into x, women get 4 into x, and what is given? The ratio is 15:21, right? And that is the main information, that 600 divided by 4x is 15:21. Now you can simply solve this equation. अभी यहाँ पे आंसर इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, this process is important, how we are coming to this equation. Once we come to this equation, we can solve it. That we'll see in the next booklet, but here we only want to convert our mathematical problem or the word problem into equation. That is our primary question. ये समझ में आ गया flow. Firstly, unknown क्या लिया? जो पूछा गया है वही. Whatever that is being asked, we took it as unknown. And then we just plotted the information that was given in the question in terms of this unknown. Next question देख लो. A and B together have 1 to 1 0. If 4/5 of A's amount is equal to 2/5 of B's amount, how much does B have? Now, how many unknowns are there? There are two things that are unknown to us. How much does A have and how much does B have? Right? So we'll assume them as X and Y. Let B has X, A has Y. And what is given? Together they have 1 to 1 0. So X plus Y is 1 to 1 0. That is given. And what else is given? 4/5 of A's amount. So 4 by 5 into Y is equal to 15. 4 by 15 of A's amount is 2 by 5 of B's amount. This is the equation. So we converted word problem into these two equations and we can solve them. And as I have already said this, and I'll repeat it many times throughout the course, if we have two variables or two unknowns, we need two equations to solve. Here there are two unknowns, X and Y. We also have now two equations to solve them. Only thing we have to be careful about, are those equations same or different? When they are different equations, then only we can solve. If we have only one equation and another equation is just multiple of that equation, then it is just the same equation. That is useless to us to solve the question. Okay, so this is the equation form. Next question. In a mixture of 60 liters, the ratio of milk and water is 2:1. If the ratio is to be 1:2, then the quantity of water to be further added is. Let क्या बोलेंगे? X be the quantity to be further added. Let quantity of water to be added be X. Okay. Now what we have a 60 liter mixture and milk and water are in the ratio 2:1. Milk is to water is 2:1. So how much is milk and how much is water? Out of 60, 2 is milk, 1 is water. So if we make 3 parts of milk, 3 parts of the mixture, 2 parts of it is milk, 1 part of it is water. Make 3 parts of it. 20 liter का एक part होगा. 2 parts are milk. So 40 liters is milk. 40 liter milk plus 20 water. Right? This is given. This information is already given. Now we are adding x liters of water in this mixture. Okay. So what does mixture? How much mixture does it have? 60 plus x liters, right? सही है कि नहीं? If I added x liters of water, mixture becomes 60 plus x liters, out of which 40 is milk because milk is not added, and 20 plus x is water because I have added x liters of water. And now the condition is, now in this mixture the ratio of milk and water is 1:2. So ratio of milk and water is equal to 1:2. You can solve this equation later. That is not an issue. But forming the equation is important. थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ रहा है कैसे जाना है? We firstly assume whatever that is asked in the question as unknown x. And then we just plot whatever information that is given. First information is, initial information is 60 liter का mixture है, that where milk and water are in the ratio 2:1. There is 40 liter milk, 20 liter water. If you are not comfortable with this, don't worry, we still have to cover ratio proportion wala chapter. But this is how it works essentially. There are, if we make 2 plus 1, 3 parts of this 60 liters, 2 parts of it is milk, 1 part of it is water. We make 3 parts of it. 60 के 3 parts बनाएंगे तो 20 के 3 parts बनेंगे. 2 of them is milk, so 20 plus 20, 40 is milk and 20 is water. Now we add x liters of water to it. Mixture becomes 60 plus x liters, out of which 40 is milk, 20 plus x is water, and the ratio is given as 1/2. That is the condition we put on this x. ठीक है? ये देखो क्वेश्चन देखो, इस साल का ही क्वेश्चन है. 2 candidates x and y contested an election. हाँ, this is a word problem which we have to convert into equations and then we need to solve it. बताओ, first step बता दो, जो भी आ रहा है दिमाग में. I already told you that you have to convert this problem into into equation, from word problem to equation जाना. So what is the first step? First step is always we have to assume some unknown. What are we taking as unknown? Total number of votes. बोलो ना, ये तो यही तो पूछ रहा हूँ. What is your first step? Let, अब x y उसने दिया है तो n ले लेते हैं, कुछ और वेरिएबल ले लेते हैं. या t लेना है टोटल के लिए. Let, चलो n ही लेते हैं. n be total number of votes or voters, right? Voters in voter states. Basically votes. Out of which 80% have cast their vote. So 0.8 n, 80% is 0.8. वो पता है ना हमें? 80% is 0.8. 0.8 n votes have been cast. ये कास्ट मतलब वो कास्ट वाला कास्ट नहीं है, ये वो वाला कास्ट, कास्टिंग ऑफ वोट वाला कास्ट. उसने क्या बोला है? देयर आर नो इनवैलिड वोट्स, देयर आर नो नोटा, so and there are only 2 candidates. All these votes are either for x or for y. वो गिवन है इंफॉर्मेशन, अदरवाइज क्वेश्चन कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाएगा. x got 56% of the votes cast and won by 1440 votes. Out of this votes, कुछ वोट्स x को गया है, कुछ वोट y को गए, राइट? x को कितने वोट्स गए? 56% of this 0.8n ना, और नॉट ऑफ n, ऑफ दिस पॉइंटेड n, मतलब जितने वोट्स जितने लोगों ने वोट्स दिए हैं उनमें से 56%, एंड इसको कितने जाएंगे फिर ऑटोमेटिकली 44%, राइट. एंड नाउ व्हाट इज गिवन, x won by 1440 votes, राइट. मतलब x got 1440 vote more than y. So this thing minus this thing is equal to 1440. This is the equation that we were looking for. Now this 56% minus 44%, इसको directly 12% लिख सकते हो. 12% of 0.8n equal to 1440. You can solve this. 12% is 12 by 100. सॉल्व करके देखना है तो देख लो. 12 by 100 into 0.8n equal to 1440. So n is equal to 1440 into 100 divided by 12 into 0.8. जो डिवीजन में है चीज है वो मल्टीप्लिकेशन में गई, जो मल्टीप्लिकेशन में है वो डिवीजन में आ गई इक्वेशन का सॉल्व करते हुए. नाउ दिस इज 12 12 जा 144 और क्या है इक्वल टू 12000 और x 0 डिवाइडेड बाय 8 इक्वल टू 8000. ठीक है. नाउ दिस जस्ट 5 लाइन्स. तुम अगर देखोगे आई हैव रिटन ओनली 5 लाइन्स. The question themselves are not difficult. It is because we don't possess the skill of converting word problems into these equations that we are facing difficulty in CSAT. Right? When I explained this to you, was any step out of the blue, like random कुछ कर रहा हो, ऐसा कुछ हुआ है? This is very logical thing. जो इक्वेशन में दिया है वही प्लॉट कर रहा है. This is very easy once you get hang of. अननोन क्या लिया जो उन्होंने पूछा था. मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में वही लेना होता है. कब नहीं लेना होता है वो हम देखेंगे. Most of the cases, in most of the cases, we have to take this as an unknown, and after taking this as an unknown, we just plot the information in terms of unknown. First information is votes कितने कास्ट हुए, वो information थी important. That we cast, that we first plotted, and then just किसको कितने votes मिले. This information again we had to deduce that if 56% of the votes went to X, rest of them went to Y. Rest of them मतलब 44%. And X won by 1440 votes. It means X got those many votes more than Y. That is again our deduction. And after that, we just solve for n. ठीक है? This is this year's question. This 2022 question. Next, देखो. If problem already has given you variables, you don't need to introduce them on your side. A rectangle has length and width 3x minus 4 and x plus 1 centimeter, and if the perimeter of rectangle is 34, find the area of rectangle. Now they have already given you x, so why introduce one more variable from your side? You don't need. Length and width का पता है तुम्हें, तो perimeter निकाल सकते हो, area भी निकाल सकते हो, right? Simple. Now calculate कर लो. This is 3x minus 4. This is x plus 1. What is perimeter? Perimeter क्या होता है rectangle का? हाँ, तो करो. क्या है 2 into l plus b is 2 into 3x minus 4 plus x plus 1 is equal to given 34. You can solve this thing. 4x minus 3 is equal to 17. 4x is equal to 20. x is equal to 5, x is equal to 5, then length is 11, breadth is 6. Now what is the area? 66 square centimeter. Right? Now another way is take the quantity as unknown about which there is maximum amount of information given. ऐसी कोई क्वांटिटी अगर है जिसके बारे में बहुत ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन है क्वेश्चन में, उसी को अननोन ले लो एंड देन आंसर को निकाल दो बाद में. This thing we are going to use in solving some of this year's question. So CSE 2022 में there are some questions where we have to do this kind of thing. That there is information is given about one particular quantity, asking the question asks something else, then it is highly inefficient to assume unknown what is being asked as unknown, but about the information about which that is given, that variable, if we take that as a variable, the question becomes very easy because बहुत सारे equation जल्दी बन जाते हैं. We take that quantity as unknown or variable about which there is maximum amount of information given. This is the rest of the 10%. 90% में उसी को लेना है, 10% में ये हो सकता है. अभी तक कोई डाउट? विल से दिस, डोंट वरी. क्वेश्चन भी देख लो. अ नंबर इज मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 2, देन रिजल्ट इज सबट्रैक्टेड बाय 4 एंड फाइनली डिवाइडेड बाय 5. इफ द फाइनल रिजल्ट इज 3, व्हाट इज द फाइनल नंबर? हाँ, so firstly the information is given about initial number, that only we have to assume as unknown, and then we can plot the rest of the information in terms of that first number, and then whatever they want to ask they can ask, we will give them answer accordingly. So firstly we have a number and it is multiplied by 2, so it becomes 2n, then the result is subtracted by 4, it becomes 2n minus 4, then it is divided by 5, so 2n minus 4 by 5. If the result is 3, then what is the number, या फिर it is what is this number, what is this number, कुछ भी पूछ सकता है, but information starts with this, so we assume that as a unknown. Question कुछ भी पूछ, ठीक है. Question ऐसा भी पूछ लो, what is the 9 times of initial number, तो 9 times of initial number को unknown नहीं मानेंगे, initial number को unknown मान लेंगे. बाद में आंसर में 9 times अगर क्वेश्चन पूछता है, we will do 9 times. Okay, any doubts? Are you comfortable? Online students, are you guys with me? सो रहे हो, जाग रहे हो? अरे पता नहीं चलता, वो लोग कुछ बोलते नहीं है ना. तो अभी भी कोई कुछ नहीं बोल रहा, शायद सो गए. नहीं सोए ना, तो अच्छी बात. Following, good. Now next is how to decide number of variables, number of unknowns कितने choose करें. Again, as I already said, to solve linear equations having n variables, you need n equations, and not any n equations, you need n independent equations. So you can decide to assume as many variables as number of equations getting formed out of the given information. If the given information gives you 2 equations, then you can assume at max 2 unknowns. If it gives you 3 equations, you can assume at max 3 unknowns, and so on. And note that to form an equation, we need independent information. In other words, if the information is dependent on previous information, it will not yield an न्यू इक्वेशन, वो पुराना ही मिलेगा. If only one equation can be formed, then you can assume only one variable x to form it and solve. Now question देखो, you have a number subtracted by 4, next is divided by 12. If the final result is 13, what is the starting number? Now we have to note that every subsequent information here depends upon previous information, right? So there are no independent informations getting formed at every subsequent step. So it is only one equation is getting formed ultimately. कोई नए equation नहीं बन रहे. Every information that is being given, it's dependent on what is happening previously. There are no independent equations getting formed. So there is only one information essentially. We can assume only one unknown as x. We have to assume जो भी है initial number को x कर लो and then form the equation x minus 4 divided by 12 etc. and then final result is 13, then solve for x. That we have to do. But number of variables उतने ही assume कर सकते हैं जितने equations बन सकते हैं. If there are two equations getting formed, you can have two. If there are only one equation is getting formed, then only one unknown, and that equation will get formed only when we have new or independent information, not dependent information. Now जो पहले वाला क्वेश्चन था, A and B together have 1 to 1 0 if 4/5 of A's amount is 2/5 of B's amount. Here you see, here we are given two informations and though they are independent. How? Together how much they have is given, statement is completed. The next information does not depend on how much they have together. Next information is very, very independent. You may not have known earlier information that together they have that much amount, and still this information is independently valid, forming new equation. हमें ऐसी information चाहिए to form a new equation, right? To form equation, we need information that is independent of what happened previously. So in this question, A and B together having some kind of amount is independent information than what the new equation that new information that is coming that following the after that information. The only thing we have to ask is the new can the new information be derived from the first information? It is not dependent. No, it is not. It is new information. And can it be derived from earlier information? Like, is the new equation multiple of earlier equation? These two equations we form, na? Now, is this equation multiple of this equation in any way? You can take variables on one side, constant on one side. 2 by 5x minus 4 by 15y is equal to 0. Now, can you multiply this equation by some quantity and arrive here? Get clear the basis. Let's say multiply by 15. Let's even multiply by 15. तो क्या होगा? यहाँ पे 6x minus 4y equal to 0. इसको मल्टीप्लाई करके यहाँ पे आ सकते हो क्या कभी? इसके कोएफिशिएंट दोनों के 1 1 है तो सेम है. Here they are different. You cannot multiply by same quantity this equation and arrive it here. So these are two independent equations and they are different equations as well. That is why there are two equations getting formed. So we can have two unknowns. Fine. Now, suppose the question was A and B together have 1 to 1 0 and the next information was if the double of A's amount and the double of B's amount is 2 4 2 0, how much does B have? ऐसा लग सकता है कि दो informations है हमारे पास, right? There are two statements which are not dependent on each other. They are new statements. First statement gives us x plus y is equal to 1 to 1 0. Now what is second statement? If we double A's amount, so if we take 2x, double of A's amount and double of B's amount is 2 4 2 0. Are these two equations or are they one equation? This is only one equation. You just multiply this by 2 and you get this equation. This is not two equations. This is only one equation. It's redundant. So you cannot solve this question because it is in two variables. Equation only we have one. So you cannot solve this question. So data sufficiency, in data sufficiency questions, this is what is being asked. Can we solve this question or not? If we have two equations and two variables, we can solve it. If we have two equations and two variables and only one equation, we cannot solve it. This is what data sufficiency is all about, most of the time. और आजकल डेटा सफिशिएंसी बहुत क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, तो ये तो है ही, मतलब अदर वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स विल एनीवे कम, that then you have to convert them into equations and then solve it. But other way as well, it is becoming more and more important that is the data sufficient to solve the question. Sufficiency का मतलब ये है, if we have two variables, do we have two independent equations which are not same? ठीक है? So this chapter is very important. Questions बहुत सारे आ सकते हैं, right? And this is the skills you are supposed to learn in your schools. They are not going beyond 10th standard understanding. Fine. Question देखो. Convert the following word problems into equations. करो सारे फटाफट, अब हो जाने चाहिए. And then we'll start with linear equations. Solve कैसे करना and PYQs. बहुत सारे PYQs है इसके. First question. There are two people, Amir and Tony, and they have some amount. So how many unknowns should be there? Two unknowns are there. Now equations देखते हैं. तो अमीर को A मान लेते हैं, टोनी को T मान लेते हैं. चलो. Together they have 30,000. First equation is A plus T is 30,000. And next information, if Amir's amount of money is 4,000 rupees more than Tony's, then find their amount. Amir's amount of money is 4,000 more than Tony's. A is equal to T plus 4,000. These are the equations. We can solve them. Are they same or different? They are different equations, right? This is A plus T is equal to something. This is A minus T is equal to something. So coefficients are different. So these are different things, different equations. We can solve them. Okay. Next question. Pooja's plate can hold 8 pieces of mangoes. She took 3 more to fill it. How many did she already have? How many unknowns are there? Only one unknown. What unknown? What is your unknown? Number of pieces she already had. That was your unknown. If that is x, then equation is x plus 3 is equal to 8. 3 और ऐड करेंगे तो प्लेट पूरी भर जाएगी. Right? Priyanka? How pieces she already have should be taken as unknown because that is being asked. We take that only as unknown. Now let her number of pieces be x. The question is if she takes 3 more, then to fill her plate fill होने का मतलब क्या है? 8 pieces. This is the equation. Next, she has 5 pieces of mangoes on her plate. She has 2 more than Pushpa. Then how many pieces does Pushpa have? पुष्पा के जितने भी पुष्पा के पास जितने भी है उसको x ले लेंगे. Then what is the equation? X plus 2 is equal to 5. This is the equation. इतने आसान क्वेश्चन नहीं आते यूपीएससी में, बता रहा हूँ, खुश मत हो जाना. Here our purpose is only to form this equation. Next question. फिर से उसके पास 5 मैंगोज है. Then she got some more pieces of mangoes from her mother. Now she has 8 pieces. How many pieces of mangoes did she get from her mother? ठीक है, कंफर्टेबल अभी तक? इसमें तो क्या ही अनकंफर्टेबल होंगे. दिस इज वेरी इजी. This you could have solved without equations as well, just by observation. Anyway, open up the next booklet. Comprehension end में करेंगे. Firstly, what do we mean by solution of a linear equation or any equation for that matter? Solution is a value when given to that variable that satisfies the given equation. There are some variables, there are some constant, and when we give particular value to that variable, if the equation is getting satisfied, then we call that value as a solution of that linear equation. For example, जो हमारा ये equation था, if we take this as an equation, if here x is a variable, if I give value of 3 to this x, then this will get satisfied, right? 5 equal to 5 हो जाएगा, तो अच्छा हो जाएगा सब कुछ. So then x is equal to 3 is a solution of this linear equation, right? Similarly, in this case, a plus t is equal to 30,000 and a minus t is equal to 4,000, right? So if I give value of a is equal to 17,000 and t is equal to 13,000, then these equations will get satisfied. So I say a is equal to 17,000 and t is equal to 13,000 is a solution of this system of equations. There are two equations. There are two equations in this system. Okay. If I give value of x is equal to 5, then this equation will get satisfied. Then I call x is equal to 5 as a solution of this linear equation. And next is how to solve linear equation. अभी तक फॉर्म कर रहे थे इक्वेशन को, अभी सॉल्व करेंगे. फर्स्ट इज linear equation in one variable. वो कैसे दिखेगा? ax plus b is equal to 0. Most general form of linear equation in one variable, right? Because we have one variable, there a is not equal to 0. Because वो 0 हो जाएगा, so just 0 equal to 0 आएगा. That is not what we are talking about. We have one variable, this coefficient is non-zero. ठीक है? So degree 1 equation. This is a linear equation that is given. So degree is 1. So coefficient is definitely not 0. इसको कैसे solve करेंगे? Here on the LHS we have variables and constants. On RHS we have 0. We take this constant on RHS. That constant is coming with plus sign. So when we transfer it to the right hand side, it becomes minus. In other words, how we think of it is we subtract b from both sides, both the sides. So this minus b, this minus b, so b minus b 0 हो जाएगा basically. So it becomes ax is equal to minus b. Instead of every time subtracting things, we just talk in terms of taking to the other side. ठीक है? Essentially we are subtracting, but हमारे कन्वीनियंस के लिए we just said उस तरफ चला जाएगा तो माइनस में चला जाएगा. सब्ट्रैक्ट ही हो रही है चीज, और कुछ नहीं हो रही. सब्ट्रैक्ट करके करना है तो करो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Then we have x equal to b. Now this is in multiplication. Now we divide both sides by a. Why we can do that? Because a is not 0. We can divide. So divide by a. तो क्या हो जाएगा, ए कट जाएगा, दिस एक्स इज इक्वल टू माइनस बी बाय, राइट, दिस इज द सॉल्यूशन ऑफ दिस लीनियर इक्वेशन। ठीक है, ये डिवीजन, ये मल्टीप्लिकेशन में उस साइड चला जाएगा तो डिवीजन में चला जाएगा, वी कैन टॉक इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट एज वेल, और वी कैन जस्ट डिवाइड बाय ए ऑन द बोथ साइड, सेम थिंग, चीज डिवाइड ही कर रहे हैं दोनों साइड, बट फॉर आवर कन्वीनियंस वी टॉक इन टर्म्स ऑफ टेकिंग टू द अदर साइड। फाइन, क्वेश्चन देखो, 3x माइनस 6 इज इक्वल टू 0, कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे, 3x इज इक्वल टू 6, x इज इक्वल टू 6/3 इज इक्वल टू 2, राइट, वही प्रोसेस फॉलो किया, ये माइनस में उधर चला जाएगा तो प्लस हो जाएगा, 3x इक्वल टू 6, x इज इक्वल टू डिवीजन उस साइड चला जाएगा तो डिवाइड हो जाएगा, x इज इक्वल टू 6/3 इज इक्वल टू 2, दिस इज हाउ वी सॉल्व द linear equation in one variable. Next is linear equation in one variable with fractions as coefficient and constant. तो यहाँ पे सब इंटीजर था 3, 6, what if we have fractions? कोई टेंशन नहीं है, we know how to deal with fractions. For example, 2/7x minus 3/2 is equal to 0. This is fractions. Now, if you don't want to deal with fractions, we remove fractions. How do we remove? You multiply by some quantity which would cancel out these fractions. That quantity is LCM or any multiple of LCM. LCM of 7 and 2 is 14 because they are co-prime. Both are prime. So LCM would be 14. Multiplication of those two. Right? From previous lecture. तो 14 से मल्टीप्लाई किया मैंने पूरे इक्वेशन को, तो व्हाट डू वी हैव, 14 into this equation, 7 2 is 14, so 2 into 2 4x minus 7 into 3 minus 21 is equal to 0 into 14 is 0. Now we can solve it as always, right? X is equal to 21/4. If we don't want to, like in fraction, addition and subtraction, if these numbers are solved small enough, we can just directly multiply without calculating LCM, multiply with product of those two. Like 2/16 x minus 1/18 is equal to 0. So here you can find LCM or directly multiply by 18 into 16. मल्टीप्लाई कर दो इसको, क्या होगा, 16 यहाँ पे कैंसिल हो जाएगा, वी गेट 36x माइनस 18 यहाँ पे कैंसिल हो जाएगा, माइनस 16 इज इक्वल टू 0, x इज इक्वल टू 16/36. मैंने देखा, स्किल्स देखे मेरे, क्या बात, रिकॉर्ड हुई है ना ये चीजें. रिफ्लेक्सेस बहुत स्ट्रांग है. एनीवे, ये ऐसे कर सकते हैं. With no need to calculate LCM as well, just multiply by product of those two and denominator will get cleared up. समझ रहे हो ना क्लियर कैसे हो रहा है डिनोमिनेटर. You can deal with fractions as well. देखो क्वेश्चंस करो, सॉल्व द फॉलोइंग लीनियर इक्वेशंस. डन, सुपर फास्ट हो तुम, गलती मत करना, बस इस चेक करो. सॉल्व दो 6 क्वेश्चंस. फर्स्ट का क्या आंसर, 1 पक्का, फर्स्ट का 1 है, सेकंड का सबका वही आ रहा है, सॉल्व कर ही लेते हैं। क्वेश्चन नंबर वो जो फर्स्ट है 5x plus 10 is equal to 15. It means 5x is equal to 15 minus 10, which is 5. So x is equal to 1. Second is 2y minus 9 is equal to 23 by 5 by 2 है क्या 5 by 2. So 2y is equal to 9 plus 5 by 2. So 2y is equal to 23 by 2. Y is equal to 23 by 4. Third, x minus 3 by 8 times x is equal to 5x plus 2 by 3x minus 11. So what is this? 8 plus 3. So 5x by 8 is equal to 17x by 3 minus 11. Yeah, कर लो वैसे कर लो. 11 bring it this side is equal to 17x by 3 minus 5x by 8. So what is this? ये है. So x is equal to some 11 into 24 by 122, right? हाँ हाँ या 121 is equal to 24 by 11. ठीक. This was the most difficult of them. थोड़ा सा फ्रैक्शन का एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन था. फ्रैक्शन का एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन अभी तक आ जाना चाहिए सबको. नेक्स्ट इज दिस 3. ये फोर्थ है 2.3x minus 2.3 is equal to 4.6. ये दिख रहा है 23 का टेबल्स में सारे नंबर. तो डिवाइड बाय 2.3 थ्रू आउट. वी गेट x minus 1 is equal to 2. X is equal to 3. Right? I divided entire equation by 2.3. Next is 5 0.25 y minus 10 is equal to minus 5. So 0.25 y is equal to 5. Y is equal to 20. And last 10 minus 5x plus 2 is equal to 2 minus x. Right? So this is 10 minus 5x minus 2 is equal to 2 minus x. So 8, ये भी minus तो यही पे कर दो. This 10 minus 2 8, वो minus 2 6 is equal to 5x minus x 4x. X is equal to 4 by 6 is equal to 2 by 3. ये सब कर सकते हो ना अभी. ब्रैकेट रिजॉल्व करना. लाइक ये माइनस साइन होगा तो माइनस 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 प्लस माइनस और माइनस प्लस माइनस माइनस प्लस माइनस. हाँ ओके. x is equal to 6 by 4 is equal to 3 by 2. सबके आ रहा है आंसर सही कैसा? या ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स? यस ना? यस यस, चलो तो विल मूव टू नेक्स्ट सेक्शन, linear equation in two variables. Until now we were dealing with linear equation in one variable, now we have two variables. In general that equation would look like ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Here x and y are variables, a and b are its coefficients and c is constant. x y की जगह कुछ और वेरिएबल्स भी हो सकते हैं, कांस्टेंट्स कुछ भी हो सकते हैं. Examples: x plus 2y minus 3 equal to 0, 2p minus 2q plus 5 equal to 0. These are examples of how linear equation in two variables would look like. But in what is the question? Can we solve it? अगर मुझे मैंने बस ये दिया तुम्हें, can you solve it like we did, like we solved this thing, ax plus b equal to 0. We solved this using only this information. But can you solve this equation like that? No. What did we say? When we have two variables, you need at least two equations to solve it. In general, if we have n variables, we need at least n equations to solve it uniquely. Solve it uniquely. Solutions बहुत सारे होंगे, but unique solution तभी होगा when we'll have one more equation. In general, to solve n equation, we need n variables. N equation in n variables can be solved uniquely, and but those equations needs to be independent and different from each other. You should not be able to derive one equation from the other by simple multiplication. That is the condition, right? We need at least n equations to solve equations with n variables. Now we have, let us say this is the equation we have, x minus x plus 2y minus 3 is equal to 0, and I give you one more equation, 4x minus 3y minus 1 is equal to 0. Now we have two equations. They are different, they cannot be derived from one another. Like multiply करके देख लो नहीं पहुंचोगे वहां तक. So these are two different equations, so we can solve. Now what we do is we try to eliminate one variable. Now here it is 4, here it is 1, coefficient is 1, coefficient is 4. Now what if I multiply this equation by 4 and then I subtract these two? Will x get eliminated or not? Right? So I multiply this equation by 4, entire equation. What do I get? 4x plus 8y. ये 3 को उधर लेके जाता हूं मैं, minus 3 becomes plus 3. I get is equal to 12. This equation becomes 4x minus 3y is equal to 1. Right? नीचे वाला भी एक ले लो. So, and I now subtract because I want to eliminate one variable. This becomes minus, this minus becomes plus, becomes minus. This gets cancelled. 8y plus 3y, 11y is equal to 12 minus 1, 11. Now I get y is equal to 1. I put that in any of this equation and I get value of x. Y is equal to 1 हो जाएगा. 4x minus 3 minus 1 is equal to 0. 4x is equal to 4, x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1 is the answer. What I did, I just eliminated one of the variables. Then after elimination, two equations got converted into question in two variables got converted into question in one variable and which I can solve easily. और देखो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो. 3x plus 5y minus 11 is equal to 0. 2x minus y is equal to 3. ये इक्वेशन क्या है? I can take 11 that side. तो इसको ऐसे लिख सकता हूँ is equal to 11. Now I can eliminate either x or y. इधर एक और बार देख लो, एक और बार देख लो. Let me show it one more time and rest of the questions you can solve. Firstly, we'll try doing eliminating x and then eliminating y. To eliminate x, what should I do? I multiply this equation by 2, multiply this equation by 3, and then subtract. So what do I get? 2 into 3, 6x plus 10y is equal to 22, right? And here I get 6x minus 3y is equal to 9, and I want to subtract. So in subtraction, this becomes minus, this becomes plus, this becomes minus. Signs will change, ना? This minus this equation minus equation. So अंदर के signs change हो जाएंगे. So this gets 0 and cancelled. 10 plus 3, 13x is equal to 22 minus 9, 13. So I get x is equal to 1. I put that in this equation, any one of the equations. X is equal to 1, so this gets 2, right? And y becomes 2 minus 3 minus 1. Right? Alternatively, if I want to eliminate now y, I want to eliminate y. Here it is 5, here it is 1. So I multiply this equation by 5 so that it becomes 5 here. What do we get? 3x plus 5y is equal to 11, and 10x minus 5y is equal to 15. I just want to add. Addition करूंगा तो सब 0 हो जाएगा. Here, there we have to subtract. Here I have to add because here it is minus sign already there. So I just add. I get 13x is equal to 26. ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? कुछ गलती हुई है क्या? But there we got x equal to 1. ऐसा तो नहीं होना चाहिए. कुछ तो गलती हुई है. अरे यार तुम क्या कर रहे हो? हाँ, this is the issue. This is y. 13y is equal to 30. Then y is equal to 1. Now I put that value in the equation. Y is equal to 1 डालूंगा तो x is equal to 2 आ जाएगा. Okay? Fine. 13x is equal to 26, x is equal to 2. Put that in equations, you get y is equal to 1. ऐसे ही बाकी सारे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो अभी। सेकंड वाला कर लो, उसका आंसर बता दो, बाकी घर पे कर लेना। हाँ अच्छा, राइट राइट। वो बस केयरफुली देखना है कि सेकंड इक्वेशन जो है दैट इज q माइनस पी लिखा है, इट इज नॉट p माइनस पी, सो जस्ट वो कर ले। हाँ सबका आ रहा है, सेकंड का आंसर क्या आ रहा है देखो एक बार। राइट, इफ एवरीबॉडी इज गेटिंग इट, बाकी क्वेश्चंस घर पे कर लेना। सेकंड इक्वेशन से x इक्वल टू y, पुट दैट इन द फर्स्ट इक्वेशन एंड यू गेट इक्वेशन इन वन वेरिएबल। You don't need to subtract and all. Just put the relation. That is also fine. हो गया सबका? हो गया ना? तो आंसर आ गया? हाँ सेकंड का आंसर आ गया ना? क्या है वही, p इक्वल टू 4, q इक्वल टू 3, राइट ना? रेस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस आर होमवर्क, घर जाके कर लेना आराम से। इन द फोर्थ क्वेश्चन x माइनस वाई इक्वल टू 0 है ना, सेकंड इक्वेशन। इन द फोर्थ क्वेश्चन सेकंड इक्वेशन इज x माइनस वाई इक्वल टू 0, इट मींस x इज इक्वल टू y, so directly put x instead of y in first equation and then solve. No need to calculate or add or subtract or multiply, etc. Directly put x is equal to y in first equation and then solve the equation. Okay, fine. Next is quadratic equation. Quadratic equations means equations having degree 2. So x square plus y square is equal to 1, xy is equal to 3, x square plus y is equal to 7. All these are examples of quadratic equations. This is quadratic equation in 2 variables. This is also in 2 variables. This is in 1 variable. What we are interested in is only quadratic equation in single variable. It would look in general like ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Only 1 variable. We are not interested in second variable. Okay, and we have to remember solutions of this particular quadratic equation. In general, these solutions are minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4a into c divided by 2 times c. For a quadratic equation, these are the solutions that we have to remember. ठीक है? So for any quadratic equation, these a, b, c are coefficients. Graph of this particular thing looks like, if we have y is equal to this thing, it looks like, if a is greater than 0, it looks like this parabola, and these two values give you these two solutions. One more thing to remember, if your b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, अगर ये 0 है तो व्हाट वी हैव b माइनस 2a ओनली होगा, ये 0 हो जाएगा। तो देन वी हैव कोइंसिडेंट और डबल रूट। उस टाइम पे ग्राफ ऐसा हो जाता है, टच करता है। अगर ऐसा पूछ ले, इन केस नहीं पूछेगा बट इन केस पूछ ले कि व्हेन डू वी हैव कोइंसिडेंटल और डबल रूट या फिर ओनली सिंगल रूट ऑफ क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन, व्हेन दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग इज 0। ओनली रिमेंबर दिस थिंग, ये सॉल्यूशन याद रख लेना। एंड वी हैव ओनली वन रूट ऑफ क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन व्हेन दिस इनसाइड थिंग, रूट के अंदर जो चीज है वो 0 है, तब वी हैव ओनली वन रूट। दैट इज ऑल, नो नीड टू गो बियॉन्ड दिस इन क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम मोस्ट प्रोबेबली नहीं पूछेगा, इन केस पूछ ले, जस्ट वी नीड टू नो दिस ओनली थिंग। आई हैव मेंशनड इट बिकॉज हमने ये स्कूल में पढ़ा है। ठीक है, जो एग्जाम्पल क्वेश्चन है उसके रूट्स निकालो। एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस 2x माइनस 8, एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस 2x माइनस 8 इज इक्वल टू 0। यहाँ पे a क्या है, a इज इक्वल टू 1, b इज इक्वल टू माइनस 2, c इज इक्वल टू माइनस 8। सॉल्व करो वो। सॉल्व करो वो। क्या आएगा, रूट्स माइनस b इज माइनस ऑफ माइनस 2 प्लस माइनस स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ b स्क्वायर, तो माइनस 2 का स्क्वायर माइनस 4 इंटू a इज 1 इंटू माइनस 8 अपॉन 2 टाइम्स a। ये रूट्स है विच इज दिस इज माइनस 2 माइनस 2, माइनस इंटू माइनस प्लस हो जाएगा, ये 2 प्लस माइनस रूट ऑफ दिस 4, दिस माइनस इंटू माइनस प्लस प्लस 4 इंटू 8 32 डिवाइडेड बाय 2 इज इक्वल टू 2। ये 32 प्लस 4 क्या है, 36, 36 का रूट 6 होता है। 2 प्लस माइनस 6 डिवाइडेड बाय 2, तो 2 रूट्स आर 2 प्लस 6 बाय 2 एंड 2 माइनस 6 बाय 2 इज इक्वल टू 4 एंड दिस इज माइनस। These are the two roots of this equation. Right, 4 and minus 2. Fine. Comfortable? Mathematization, conversion of word problems into equations and solving them. दोनों चीज अभी हो गया। अभी क्वेश्चंस करेंगे बस, PYQs करेंगे, बहुत सारे हैं। We'll do those. Hopefully, you'll be much more comfortable after solving PYQs. Or alternatively, much less confident after solving PYQs. वो भी हो सकता है। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, हाँ ठीक है, आंसर अच्छा कैसे किया, अच्छा तो सारे रूट्स इंटीजर होंगे कैसे पता तुम्हें, नहीं पता तो गेस कर रही हो। क्वेश्चन इज sum of three consecutive integers is equal to their product, so how many such possibilities are there? Sum of three integers is equal to their product. The question is about integers. You need to know what do we mean by integers. अगर क्वेश्चन नेचुरल नंबर्स होता, आंसर वुड हैव बीन डिफरेंट, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन इज integers, answer would be different. In last year's paper, they have asked this question for natural numbers. In this year's paper, they have asked this question for integers. Question is same, answer is different. शैंकी इसका ए नहीं आंसर। अब देखो कितने कंसेप्ट इसमें इन्वॉल्व है। So what do we have? We have three consecutive integers. So they are something like x minus 1, x and x plus 1. These are integers, three consecutive integers. No problem. Why I have taken minus 1 plus 1? Because add करना है तीनों को. When I add these three, minus 1 plus 1 will get cancelled so that I don't have to deal with constant. In your case, there will be one constant, nothing change. Answer will remain exactly the same. कोई complications भी नहीं होंगे. It's exactly very much fine. What do we have now is condition क्या है कि product of three consecutive integers is same as their sum. What is product of these three? X into x minus 1 into x plus 1. This product of these three integers is same as their sum, which is x minus 1 plus x plus 1. This is sum of three integers, which is equal to 3x. Fine. So what I have is x into x minus 1 x plus 1 is equal to 3x. This is the equation I have in one variable. ये वेरिएबल एक ही है. ओके, x को कैंसिल करने का मन कर रहा है. कैन वी कैंसिल x? दोनों जगह पे x है, कैंसिल करने का मन तो करेगा, बट कैन वी कैंसिल? हाँ, that we can say, but can we cancel x? When can we cancel? We can cancel only when x is not 0. We make two cases. First is x is equal to 0. Second is x not equal to 0. If x is 0, what do we have? Minus 1, 0, plus 1. Three numbers. What is their sum? 0. What is their product? So sum is equal to product as we wanted. This is one pair, right? All are integers. Okay. Now if when x is not 0, we can cancel. So I get x minus 1 into x plus 1 is equal to 3. Right? I expand this, I multiply this. By what do I get? X square minus 1 is equal to, right? Multiply किया है बस, कुछ नहीं किया. X into x, x into 1, minus 1 into x, minus 1 into plus 1. So I get this thing. ये कर सकते, ये समझ में आ गया ना? So what is x square? Four. So x is equal to, because we are dealing with integers, minus 2 is also allowed, right? x की दो वैल्यूज आ गई यहाँ पे हमारे पास. What do we have as a pairs? X is equal to 2 होगा, so this would be 1, 2, 3. When x is equal to minus 2, we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So we have that was one pair, this is second pair, this is third pair. All are integers. So answer is 3. Yes, Jyoti, you are right, but this is also possible because we are taking integers. Minus 2 is also square root of 4. क्योंकि minus 2 का square भी तो 4 ही होता है. So we have in fact not one but 3 pairs. Most of the students, they only did this by observation. They said that only this is possible because this is very easily visible, 1, 2, 3 wala pair, and they marked it or it's only one possibility and they got it wrong. Some of them might have included this as well, but ये वाली include करना, that is important. cubic के roots. In general, it is not easy to solve cubic equation. There is a method. Actually, there is a lot of history behind solving cubic. There were these solving a general cubic equation has always intrigued mathematicians for thousands of years. Like, it is definitely not easy to solve cubic equation. But what happened was in, I think, around 17th or 18th century, in Italy, there was a mathematician, I'm forgetting his name. He managed to solve special cubic equation of this type, like ax cube plus bx plus c is equal to 0. X square की term नहीं थी यहाँ पे. So he managed to solve this kind of cubic equation for any ABC, definitively. And but he was so proud of that feat that he kept it to himself. Like किसी को नहीं बताओ. Only I in the world know the secrets of solving cubic equation. He was very much like that. He was a proud man. For him, everyone was a stupid except himself, because he alone knew how to solve cubic. But in his on his deathbed, he told one of his students that how to solve this equation. That student was a stupid fellow. So उसने हर जगह पे ढिंढोरा पीट दिया कि मुझे पता है और मैंने निकाला ये. Fine. So what happened? There was again this used to be tradition that mathematicians could challenge each other to determine who is the best. So when I challenge him, I give him 10 most difficult questions that I could think of, and he would give me 10 most difficult questions that he could think of, and we would see who wins, who can solve. So this guy, he was so full of himself that he gave all the 10 equations as these cubics, different values, but solve करके दिखा. Because he thought that he alone knew the secrets, because his mentor had passed it only to himself. But so of course that was challenge for another mathematician, but he was a great mathematician. So he struggled, but he managed to solve them. So he automatically solved all the 10 questions, and this guy couldn't solve it. So of course he won. But the guy didn't stop at this. He managed to find a method to convert this kind of general cubic equation into this format. He find a method to convert this general cubic into this format. This was known how to solve this question. This was already known. So he managed to exactly solve this kind of equation. But mathematicians, they are very intriguing creatures. They don't stop at anything. अब cubic हो गया. What about quadric? What about degree 4 equation? What about degree 5 equation? So there was this mathematician Galois. He is considered as one of the most brilliant minds we have ever witnessed. He was living alive during French Revolution time. He was a French mathematician, and he was very young. Like, he was a Jacobean. He used to run those revolutionary clubs and all. And he was again a proud fellow. He managed to show that it is not possible to find such kind of solution for degree 5 equation. It is just not possible. He proved that. That was a great feat. He was a child prodigy. तो बहुत सारे किस्से और वो सब है, पढ़ लेना आगे अगर कहीं मन करे. But he died at the age of, I think, 21 or 22, because some aristocrat challenged him to duel. Duel, पता है? I challenge you to duel, so we fight to death. Galois knew that he would lose because he didn't know any swordsmanship or anything like that. He was a mathematician, but he still accepted because he was proud, and he lost and he died. That was the end of Galois, but in his short span of time, he did fantastic work. So, coming back to cubics, it is not easy to just determine like that if the solutions would be integer or not, to answer your question in short. Yeah, this question was very easy. UPSC थोड़ी तुमसे एक्सपेक्ट करेगा कि तुम क्यूबिक सॉल्व करो वहां पे बैठ, हमसे भी नहीं करेगा जो मैथमेटिक्स ऑप्शनल वाले हैं. दे विल नॉट एक्सपेक्ट दिस ऑफ अस एज वेल। तो तुम तो बहुत मतलब सीसेट तो बहुत दूर दूर की बात। हियर इट वाज सिंपल, इट इज जस्ट दैट यू हैव टू कंसीडर दिस केस दैट x कैन बी अ जीरो, then you can cancel. Another cases you can cancel. Addition. Sum of three consecutive integers is equal to their product. No? So this is product, this is sum. This is minus 1 plus 1 gets cancelled and I get 3x. Hmm. Hmm. Little bit, not more, not a lot. So if I have x into x plus 1, x plus 2 is equal to 3x plus 3. ये होगा. Then we have to expand it a bit. या थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बनेगा ऐसा लग रहा है. ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बन रहा है. हाँ, क्यूबिक इक्वेशन आ रही है. एक्स क्यूब प्लस minus 3 is equal to 0. Yeah, this equation you are getting. ये तो गलत ही है इक्वेशन, ऐसे आ नहीं सकती. क्या आ रही है? अच्छा अच्छा, ओके ओके. अब यहाँ पे क्या करना पड़ता है ना, यू हैव टू फैक्टराइज कॉम्प्लिकेटेड क्वेश्चन. अब तुम ये देखना पड़ता है कि x इज इक्वल टू 1 इज अ सॉल्यूशन. ऑब्जर्वेशन से यू कैन सी दैट x इज इक्वल टू 1 इज अ सॉल्यूशन. 1 डाल के देखोगे ना, तो 1 plus 3 minus 1 minus 3, so 1 is a solution. So you try to write it as x minus 1 into something. 1 is the root of this equation, so you try to write it as x minus 1 into something. तो अब यहाँ पे x है, ये अंदर कुछ तो स्क्वायर की टर्म्स आएंगी. यहाँ पे x क्यूब है, तो हियर इट वुड कम x स्क्वायर, तो x स्क्वायर इंटू x क्यूब बन जाएगा. बट यहाँ पे x स्क्वायर आ गया माइनस 1, तो ये माइनस x स्क्वायर आएगा. बट हियर इट इज 3 प्लस 3x स्क्वायर, तो प्लस 4x आना चाहिए. सो दैट प्लस 4x स्क्वायर माइनस 3x माइनस x स्क्वायर 3x स्क्वायर आएगा. एंड बट यहाँ पे प्लस 4x माइनस 1 माइनस 4x हो जाएगा. तो यू गेट, यू हैव टू राइट माइनस है तो प्लस 3 हो जाएगा. दिस शुड बी इट. वही कर रहे हैं, वही कर रहे हैं. दिस इक्वल टू 0. नाउ दिस इज अ क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन, दिस यू कैन सॉल्व. इसके दो रूट्स पता चल सकते हैं. इसका रूट a1 पता है, ये करना पड़ेगा. आसान नहीं हो, उस केस में बहुत आसान हो जाता है, बिकॉज 0 इज अ रूट ऑफ दैट क्यूबिक. 0 is not root of this cube, the root of this cube. ये problem. See, 1 is a root of this equation ना. 1 डाल के देखो तो 0 आ गया. 1 is a solution of this equation. So x minus 1 is a factor of this equation. तो इसलिए x minus 1 को अलग लिख दिया. And then another factor I want to find out. तो वो डाल के देख रहा हूँ, डिवाइड करके देख रहा हूँ. x यहाँ पे x minus 1 है, तो अंदर x स्क्वायर की टर्म एक आएगी, यहाँ पे x क्यूब है, मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा तो x क्यूब आना चाहिए. तो यहाँ पे x स्क्वायर आएगा, बट ये माइनस 1 और माइनस x स्क्वायर में मल्टीप्लाई होंगे. माइनस x स्क्वायर, I need plus 3x square. So I should get 4x into x, so 4x square minus x square, तो plus 3x square आएगा. ऐसे सब डाल के देखना पड़ेगा. हाँ हाँ, फर्स्ट यहाँ पे 1 रूट है, वो हिट एंड ट्रायल है थोड़ा सा. इसका रूट तुम्हें वैसे पता नहीं चल सकता अनलेस यू आर, इफ यू नो हाउ टू सॉल्व जनरल क्यूबिक. इफ यू डोंट, तो इसको ऑब्जर्वेशन से करना. बट दिस इज मच इजियर बिकॉज 0 इज द रूट ऑफ दिस क्यूबिक इक्वेशन. क्योंकि 0 रूट है, तो क्यूबिक से क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन इजीली आ जाता है. 0 इज नॉट रूट ऑफ दैट इज द और उसमें और भी तुम्हें देखना पड़ेगा, उसका उसका एक रूट आएगा, यहाँ पे 1 आया ना रूट, x इज इक्वल टू 1 इज 1 रूट, अनदर रूट वुड बी x इज इक्वल टू -1 एक रूट होगा एंड x इज इक्वल टू -3 एक रूट होगा. ऑल आर इंटीजर्स, यू कैन सॉल्व. So x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 1, x plus 2. These would be 3 pairs and you get 3 possible. But this was not an easy question like that unless you know the 3 pairs by observation. गलत हो जाता question unless you solve this by equation. वो हो जाता. Next question. Consider the following statements. What is the age of Manisha? Statement 1. Manisha is 24 years younger than her mother. Statement 2. 5 years later, ages of Manisha and her mother would be in the ratio 3:5. So there are two variables clearly, age of Manisha and age of mother. Now to answer what is age of Manisha, that is to solve the equation, we need two equations which are independent. Now statement 1 gives us one equation. Manisha is 24 years younger than her mother. Let Manisha's age be x, mother's age be y. So what does first equation give us? First statement gives us x is equal to y minus 24, right? And second is 5 years later, ages of her Manisha and her mother would be in the ratio 3:5. Age of Manisha would be 5, age of mother would be x plus 5, y plus 5 is equal to 3:5. All you have to do is check if these two equations are same or not. This equation is x minus y is equal to minus 24. This equation is cross multiply कर दो, 5x plus 5 is equal to 3 into y plus 5, which implies 5x minus 3y is equal to minus 10. Are these two equations same or different? They are different definitely. यहाँ पे coefficients ही देख लो, 1 minus 1 है, यहाँ पे 5 minus 3 है. So these equations are definitely different. So we can solve them when we know when we have both the statements. कोई एक भी statement होगा तो हमें बस एक equation मिलेगी, so we cannot solve. So statement 1 and 2 together are sufficient would be the answer, right? Alone कोई भी sufficient नहीं होगा क्योंकि एक ही equation बना रहा है हर statement. अगर एक ही statement में दो equation बन जाते तो एक ही statement alone sufficient हो जाता. But in this case, we need both the equation to form two equations. So answer will be C. पैसेजेस करें, बाकी कल करते हैं क्वेश्चन. कल मतलब मंडे, राइट? tomorrow we have weekend off. कल वाला पैसेज निकालो, क्या था देखो. Have you read the passage? In simple matters like shoemaking वाला passage जो था. What is simple matters like shoemaking? We think only a specially trained person will serve our purpose. But in politics, we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to become administrator of the state. Author has a complaint, clearly. Author is saying कि अगर if you want somebody to make our shoes, we consider specialty, expertise, etc. But when it comes to who gets to administer the state, we assume that the person who knows how to get votes already knows how to administer the state. That is our assumption, which is false assumption. That is complaint of a author. ये assumption गलत है, यही author बोलना चाहता है. Okay, when we are ill is a guarantee of a specific preparation and technical competence. We do not ask for the handsomest physician or the most eloquent one. Well then, when the whole state is ill, should we not look for the service and guidance of the wisest and the best? क्या बोल रहा है? When we fall ill, we look for the best physician, not the most handsome looking or the most eloquent one. He is comparing handsome or eloquent with the ability to get votes. Why is that? When the whole state is ill, we are looking for somebody like that instead of somebody who is wise and the best. So he is clearly saying that wise and the best is clearly different from those who knows how to get votes, who are probably more eloquent or handsome, etc. Now, which of the following statement best reflects the message of the passage? First is, we assume that in democracy, any politician is qualified to administer the state. बोला गया है, it is true, it is being said in the passage, but is that the message? It is a summarization of passage, but is it the message out of passage? Message it was. पढ़ के तुमने क्या निकाला बाहर? What do we learn from it? How do we improve our current state of affairs from the passage? That is the message of the passage. Author कहना क्या चाह रहा है? वो क्या चाहता है कि इस पैसेज से क्या हो बाहर, कुछ तो चेंज होना चाह रहा है ना. दैट इज द मैसेज ही वांट्स टू कन्वे. सेकंड स्टेटमेंट, पॉलिटिशियंस शुड बी सिलेक्टेड फ्रॉम दोज ट्रेन्ड इन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. Okay, let's put a pin on that. Third, we need to devise a method of barring incompetence from the public office. Why do we reject C? What is passage about? Is it about competence or incompetence? The whole complaint of the author is that incompetent people are running the state. That is the complaint. Message is not, message ऐसे थोड़ी देगा passage. Message is what you take out of it. Message is not directly reflected. हाँ तो कुछ मेथड निकालो. मेथड नहीं बोला है, क्या निकालो वो नहीं बोला. Specifics are not given, but we need to find a way to bar the incompetent people from entering the office. Because right now, what our assumptions as a voter is that those who know how to get votes are automatically good administrator. But state is ill, so they are incompetent. So they should not be there. We need to find a way to ensure that they don't get entered there. So, for example, IAS officers are trained in administration. So, should we directly let them administer the state? We are living in a democracy that goes against principles of democracy. Getting votes is important because those who are running the state would always be representatives of people. उसके अगेंस्ट तो नहीं जा सकते ना हम लोग. Incompetent people को वहां पे जाने नहीं देना है. That is our concern. Concern is not that getting votes is wrong. Getting votes is essential feature of democracy. We are a democracy. So that is what weeding the incompetent people. That is what you are saying. जो लोग एडमिनिस्टर करना नहीं जानते वो इलेक्शन के खड़े ही ना हो. So you are in fact devising a method to weed out incompetent people. वही कर रही हो ना तुम. फाइनल स्टेटमेंट क्या है? As voters elect their administrators, the eligibility of politician to administer the state cannot be questioned. Of course, it can be question. The passage में question ही किया गया. So statement D is definitely wrong. Statement A is not a message. So our confusion is between B and C. Now, if you select B, my submission is you are going against principles of democracy. Because those who are trained in administrator, those cannot be automatically made administrators or premiers of a state, because we are in fact a democracy. Politicians elected होते हैं. Politicians are always elected. वो word भी long है वो वैसे. That again, selected word will also go against democracy. So in my opinion, answer should be C. We'll wait for next year's UPSC official solution. Because in fact, concern of the author, in my opinion, is all about incompetent people running the state. And he wants to ensure incompetent people वहाँ पे नहीं जाने. वही complaint है. We are assuming that they are already competent when they are not. We have to find a method to weed them out. That is the message. Convinced? Not convinced? Convinced? देखो, out of 27 passages, there would be at least 5-6 passages where people would keep fighting. इसका solution ये होगा, इसका solution होगा. It is okay. उसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, because when UPSC, whatever UPSC decides, that would be official. We can't keep fighting. When we can keep fighting, but you as aspirants, you don't need to get into all that. जो बाकी के 20 passages है, जिसपे कोई झगड़ा नहीं है, उन पे फोकस करो ना. वो भी तो है. There will be 20-22 passages where there is no confusion. There is definite solution. You should attempt those rather than getting into this confusing passages. Anyway, you don't have to attempt all 80 questions. If you attempt, great. मैं पार्टी दे दूँगा. Attempt करके आ गए. But नहीं. Otherwise, it is not needed to qualify. For qualification, even if you attempt like 45-50 questions with sufficient level of accuracy, that is fine. Yeah, मतलब if you get more than 90 or 100, that is enough ना. To have that peace of mind कि अब worry नहीं करना है, चाहे जो आंसर हो जाए, चाहे जो भी झगड़े हो क्लास वालों के, 2-3 आंसर इधर उधर हो जाए तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता मुझे. I'll still be above 60. That peace of mind is important because you know those initial 19 days where 19-20 days के बाद रिजल्ट आता है ना फ्री, वो भी वेस्ट नहीं होनी चाहिए. If you are worrying about that कि यार मैं borderline पे हूँ, पढ़ूँ या ना पढ़ूँ, क्या पढ़ूँ, कितना पढ़ूँ, that worry eats up your time. That should not happen. That is why it is important that you get to 90 plus marks. और 150 प्लस आ गए तो पार्टी ले लेना मेरे से. नेक्स्ट देखो, आज वाले इसमें भी है कुछ पैसेजेस. The poverty line is quite unsatisfactory when it comes to grasping the extent of poverty in India. First statement पे ही complaint है, poverty line is unsatisfactory. It is not only because of its extremely narrow definition of who is poor and the debatable methodology used to count the poor, but also because of a more fundamental assumption underlying it. ये तो problems है ही, because firstly very narrow definition, secondly methodology to count poor is debatable, methodology is problematic, data gathering is problematic, narrow focus, narrow definition is problematic, but there is even more fundamental assumption. वो बोल रहा है, it exclusively relies on the notion that poverty has insufficient income or insufficient purchasing power. So poverty is being seen only from the prism of income or purchasing power. That is the more fundamental problematic assumption. One can better recognize it by calling it income poverty. This is just an income poverty, not a poverty in general sense. If poverty is ultimately about deprivations affecting human well-being, then income poverty is only one aspect of it. Author himself is claiming that poverty is about not about income deprivation, but about other kinds of deprivation also. Poverty of life, in our view, lies not merely in the impoverished state in which a person actually lives, but also in the lack of real opportunity given by the social constraint as well as personal circumstances to choose other type of living. That is what is the real meaning of poverty of life. Poverty of life matlab not having opportunities to due to lack of due to constraints of society as well as personal constraint. तो जब ये वाली अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं होंगी तो देयर इज नो वे टू चूज अदर टाइप ऑफ लिविंग. You have to stay where you are because you are forced to do so by society or by your personal circumstances. How society? We have seen even Old Rachandnagar is a live example of this, that not the maids which are cleaning our places, they don't want to clean bathrooms. Those people who clean bathrooms are from particular caste here in Varanasi. So they are forced by the social constraint that they cannot do anything else. They have to do anything else. Right? Manual scavenging and all these works, it is pretty much forced by the society. There is no option for them to choose other kinds of living. Okay. Even the relevance of low incomes, meager possessions, and other aspects of what are standardly seen as economic poverty relate ultimately to their role in curtailing capabilities. That is, their role in severely restricting the choices people have to lead variable and valued lives. So, whatever income impoverishment or other kinds of restrictions due to possessions and or other kinds of goods which are typically associated with being economically poor, ultimately what they do is they curtail the capabilities. Capabilities approach of poverty, have you studied it? Amartya Sen ka capability approach of the poverty. He talks in terms of functionalities and capabilities. So that is what the author is also saying, that it curtails their capabilities, that is their role in restricting choices of the people to lead variable and valued life. That is what these kinds of economic poverty also does. Question: why is methodology adopted in India to count the poor debatable? Of course, option number D, it says that it is based on the proposition that poverty has meager income or buying capacity. Just language is different. Proposition वगैरह ये words use किए. Proposition, you know what is proposition? Proposition is when I propose something and that happens. Proposition, in this case, basic proposition behind calculating poverty line is that poverty as an income deprivation, which is debatable. Next question. There is some confusion regarding what should constitute the poverty line. There is no confusion as such. Author has never said it is a confusing thing. Author has said that regardless, वो छोड़ो, वो तो गलत है ही. But more fundamental flaw is the option number D. Next, why is income poverty only one measure of counting the poor? Option number A है देखो, it talks only one kind of deprivation, ignoring all others. सही है. Option number B, what it says is other deprivations have nothing to do with lack of purchasing power. Is that true? So they have taken option number A पढ़ो तुम और फिर option number B पढ़ो. What the author is saying that income poverty is only one aspect of it. So basically you are ignoring other aspects. Author is not saying that income poverty has nothing to do with other things. Of course it is part of it. But it is only part of it, not the whole picture. Option B is saying income poverty has nothing to do with other things. That is just extreme statement at first. Extreme statement तो वैसे भी chances कम होते हैं सही होने. And in this case, author himself is saying that even income deprivation ultimately leads to curtailing capabilities. That is why income deprivation is pretty much part of it, but it is not the only thing. Next question, what does author mean by poverty of life? Multiple answers. Great. मजा आता है multiple answers का. What did author say? That poverty of life is about curtailing of person's opportunities due to social constraints as well as personal constraints. Poverty of life was about curtailing of opportunities for the author. Option number A is all deprivations which stem not only from lack of income but of lack of real opportunities. Option A talks about opportunities curtailing. Option number D says material as well as non-material deprivations in human life which restrict human choices permanently. बी और सी तो गलत ही है क्या? बी तो एकदम ही गलत है. सी इज मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन डाइवर्स पर्सनल सर्कमस्टेंसेस. It is not only about personal circumstances, there are social constraints as well. So B and C is definitely wrong. But option number D has the word permanently. Why is it permanent? Can change maybe 50 years down the line. Those social constraints and personal constraints, both the constraints which are restricting the opportunity. Now, can social constraint loosen up? Yes. Can personal constraint loosen up? Yes. Maybe society 20 years down the line would not be as dogmatic as it is today about some things. Like let's say manual scavenging. Maybe caste norms would loosen up 20 years down the line. That kind of social constraint would loosen up. So it is not anything about it is permanent. Social constraints essentially are always contextual. In general as well. Social values, social morality is always dependent on time and place. Of course, as the time changes, they change. So permanently is definitely a wrong choice. So option number A is the correct. The problem, Shanki, is not with material or non-material. It is just material and non-material is right, but permanently is definitely wrong because social constraints are essentially function of time, always. 200 years ago, sati was not a social. Going sati was a social constraint. Today, not going sati is a social constraint. So they will change. Anyway, next अब Monday को करते हैं अगला वाला. So already our time is up. वीकेंड पे थोड़ा रिवाइज कर लो, पॉसिबल है तो वर्कशीट कर लो. ओके, आज वाली वर्कशीट लेके जाना अगर प्रिंट हो गई है तो, वर्कशीट इसकी लीनियर इक्वेशंस की. हैव अ गुड डे.